Hi guys, Chester Westerford here. The Mandalorian is back, and I am here with my quick hot take review on Season 3, Episode 1, also known as Chapter 17, The Apostate. Along with the Mandalorian returning, of course, is young Grogu, the Yoda-like baby that melted the hearts of all the viewers who wouldn't normally watch Star Wars but will watch this show because of him. While I'm still not sure how I feel about that brilliant finale to his story being reversed in the Book of Boba Fett, I also realized the show just wouldn't be the same without the little guy, and it wouldn't draw in as much viewers or merchandise. So I don't blame Disney or Lucasfilm one bit for wanting to put him back in. It was probably the right choice. Only thing is, I think maybe they should have included more of him returning to the Mandalorian in the recap, so as to explain to viewers who maybe didn't watch Boba Fett, if such viewers exist, why Grogu is back with Mando. But maybe they didn't feel it was necessary. While I do think it was the right choice to bring him back, I do wonder how the behind-the-scenes timeline went. It almost feels like they wrote this initially with no plans for Grogu, as he really doesn't have any effect on the story. At least not in this episode. Now that the focus is more on Din Djarin, it really seems like Grogu is just an observer, there to look and act like the cute sidekick on the sidelines. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just really curious to see if that trend continues, and if so, I'd be curious to know when in the writing process for this season the decision was made to keep him around. It'll be interesting to see if he becomes more a part of the plot later on. As for this episode itself, while it wasn't anything too surprising or bombastically amazing, I think it was a solid start for a new season. It was enjoyable enough, despite feeling a bit all over the place at times. There were a few good action scenes like that opening in which I'm sure I'm not the only one to have thought that it was going to be a flashback to when Mando recited the Mandalorian oath. I'm kinda glad it wasn't, as flashbacks are a trope that, in my opinion, are way too overused these days. I don't want to keep going back to the past, I want to see what happens in the future. So when Mando's ship came flying in, not only was it a great entrance, but felt like something new and different somehow, since they kind of flipped it and it wasn't the trope I thought it was. It was also kind of neat to see the old-fashioned space battle with the pirates. It felt very Star Wars. Speaking of the pirates, I loved the makeup on them. Felt like they were straight out of the Clone Wars. Also, when the pirates were introduced, there was a moment when I wondered if we were going to get a live-action Hondo Anaka, which would be cool, and I suppose we still might. Maybe as a rival pirate or something. Yeah, that'd be cool to have him in one of these live-action shows. Although we didn't get to see that returning character, we of course did get some others. Bo-Katan, the Armorer, High Magistrate Greef Karga, IG-11, which was a surprise. Seemed a bit random, I have to say. I mean, I know Mando has a thing against droids, but surely I thought they were indications that he was warming to them in general, not just that particular one. So why does he have to have him on this journey? It's a bit of a stretch, but I can accept it. If they do manage to repair him, it'll be interesting to see where the character goes from there. All in all, I'd say this episode really didn't have too much substance to it, but felt like what it was. A setup for the season. We were introduced to the main characters, introduced to the main plot, with Din Djarin attempting to pay for his transgressions and be reinstated into the Mandalorian culture, or at least the culture of the Children of the Watch. I do wonder if the end result of this season is going to be him realizing that the way isn't the only way, and maybe joining up more like with Botan Kryze's side. That's my theory. Speaking of speculation, I understand from what I've heard that the showrunners have confirmed we will find out who rescued Grogu from the Jedi Temple during Order 66. I'm not sure if that's something they actually said or if it's something that's a rumor, but either way, if it's true, that's exciting, and I look forward to finding out about that. So yeah, I honestly don't have too much else to say. I enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to find out the result of all the things it set up for the rest of this season. But what did you guys think? Do you have any theories, speculation as to what exactly went down in this episode and what will go down? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next week for my review of Chapter 18, also known as Season 3, Episode 2. Goodbye!